up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Becca. This is Cosplay.and.books, the channel where I talk about books and then cosplay from the ones that I like the most. And today we are doing my all-time favorite books. So I didn't have a video idea for this week, so I just decided to do this because I needed to film, and I was like, I don't know what to film, so this is what we're filming. Ooh. So this is just basically all of my favorite books, and I'm gonna rant about them, and I have a lot. Let's go. So the first one is no surprise to anyone who has watched my videos. I think I talk about this book in about every single video, which is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is the origin story of the Queen of Hearts. So it obviously takes place in the Kingdom of Hearts in Wonderland, and it is about the queen before she was queen, and she meets a jester named Jest, and they sort of fall in love, and then stuff happens, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's a really cute book and I really like it. The next one is also a Marissa Meyer book, well, Marissa Meyer series, which is the Renegade series. This is about Nova, who is a villain by the name of Nightmare, and she sneaks into the hero place, the place where all the heroes are, and she pretends to be a hero to sort of get into their inner circle so she can defeat them. And then she ends up falling in love with one of the heroes, Adrian, who is the son of two of the most powerful, or two of the most loved heroes in the city. And I love this book so much. The entire series, really. It's a really good series, and yeah. The next one is a duology, which is the These Hollow Vows duology, which is These Hollow Vows and These Twisted Bonds. This is about a girl named Abriella, or Brie, and she is she's this human who hates the Fae, and her sister gets sort of sold off to the Dark Fae King, and so she has to go into the Fae realm to save her, and she gets the help from both, well, mainly the Dark Fae Prince, Finn, and her childhood best friend, Sebastian. And yeah, then some stuff happens, and it's a love triangle between the two of them, and it is just such a good series. I love this one so much. The next one is another series, which is Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And you might be saying, isn't there 3 books in that series? Yes, there is. We don't talk about the 3rd book. So this is Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good Girl Bad Blood. These are my 2 favorites in the series because the 3rd one is not the best. We'll say that. The first one is about our main character, Pip, and she, for her senior capstone project, so the end of year sort of last project that she does for school, she decides to solve a murder, which is the murder of Andy Bell, who was killed, I think it's 5 years before this book takes place, and she ends up getting the help from who everyone assumes was the murderer. She gets help from his little brother, Ravi, and it is just such a good book. It's really sad, and it's very much high stakes, and there's a lot of really good stuff in this. And she sort of turns into this person that she never thought she would be, because she breaks in places and she manipulates people. But yeah, it's a really good book. And then in the second one, she swears that she's never going to solve another murder, because after everything that happened in the first one, she thinks it's too dangerous. But when her best friend's older brother goes missing, she is put on the case, and she also at this point has a podcast that she did, that she talked about all of the things that happened in this book in, and so she ends up putting those episodes out as well. And so yeah, while this is happening, she's doing a podcast, and it's just really cool. I really love how these books are formatted, because they have little parts where there's text, there's text in it, and there's like transcribed things where it's like an audio is supposed to be happening, but it's like transcripted. And I really like how it's formatted, and I've heard that the audiobooks are like full casted, and I really think that's an awesome idea to do for this series. I would love to listen to the audiobooks, but I don't think they're on Scribd. But yeah, I did end up like not annotating but tabbing the first one, the second one, and I would like to tab this one as well. I just want to get better tabs than these. So, but yeah, Good Girls Guide to Murder, I love them. The next one is a trilogy, which is the Caraval trilogy. I don't have all of the books, but I do have the second one. Love to get them, but I just haven't yet. But this is about a girl who gets invited to this like game that's set on a private island called Caraval, and usually there's like some big prize, like a big mystery that happens, and you get to like, the prize is a wish. And so in the first one, this is the second, so not in this one. In the first one, the like mystery to solve is to find her younger sister, because the guy who runs these games, Legend, has kidnapped her. And so she has to be the one to figure out what happened, and she gets help from a guy named Julian, and it is just such a good book. It's really whimsical and fun, and I really enjoy it. In the second one, which is this one, it is the sister's point of view, so the main character Scarlet from the last book, it's her younger sister Tella, and I actually can't remember which one this one is. This is set on a different island, but it's still Caraval, and this time it's Tella playing the game instead of Scarlet, and she has to find these cards, like instead of like, that's like the big mystery, is to find these cards, and it's actually to trap all of the fates that are out, including Jax, who is the Prince of Hearts, who actually reappears in another series of Stephanie Garber's. And yeah, and this has a little love triangle with Legend and Jax, and it's very good. And then the third one, which is Finale, is like a pickup to where this ended. It's a pickup to that. And so it just sort of continues Tella's story. It's mainly in Tella's point of view, but it does have Scarlet's point of view as well. And the next series is actually an unfinished series, but I love both of the books so far, which is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by Stephanie Garber. The third book is coming out in October, and I'm very excited for it. Essentially, this is set in the same world of Caraval, but it follows a girl named Evangeline, who is... It starts off with her being like really upset that her like childhood crush, or like the boy she loves, is getting married to her stepsister, and so she thinks he's cursed. So she goes to the Prince of Hearts, Jax, who was in Caraval, and she asks him to sort of help her to figure out if he's actually being cursed or not. And then things happen, and it gets really sad. And then in the second one, I don't remember exactly what happens, even though I loved it so much, but it's essentially just a pickup on the end of the first one. And this series is so good, and I cannot wait until the new one comes out, because the way the second one ended was terrifying. Well, not terrifying, but terrible. And I hated the ending. Well, I loved it I hated it in the way that it made me sad. That doesn't make sense, but whatever. The next one is Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. This is the spin-off series of the These Violent Delights duology. This follows Rosalind, who is a spy, and she ends up teaming up with this other spy, I think he is. Well, she's like a spy assassin, he's like a spy. And she teams up with him, and they pretend to be this like married couple, and they have to figure something out. What is that something? I don't remember. And it ends really horribly, and not horribly. Okay, when I say like horribly, I mean for them, not for me. Well, yes, for me. But like, it was a really good ending. but it was really sad. And the new one comes out, I think it's like next week it comes out, and I'm very excited and I hope I can buy it. The next series is a it's a trilogy, but only 2 of the books are out right now, which is the Belladonna series. So it's Belladonna and Foxglove by Adeline Grace. This is about a girl named Signa who is immortal, essentially. She doesn't know why or how, but she can't die, and everyone thinks she's cursed because everyone that she lives with has died, like, in some strange way. And she ends up being followed by Death himself, like, since she was a child. And then she ends up falling in love with him, and it's very cute. And then this one has Death's brother, Fate, who is essentially trying to make Signa fall in love with him instead, because she reminds him of the girl that he fell in love with. And yeah, it is a really good series, and I'm very excited for the next one whenever it comes out. I don't know when it is. The next one is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in the 1920s in Shanghai, China, and it is so good. It starts off with a literal like monster coming to life, and these are 2 rival gangs. So it's the Scarlet and the White Flowers, and the Scarlets are Juliet's side and the White Flowers are the Romeo or Roma, that's their side. And it's really good, and basically Juliet and Roma have to team up together to fight this monster against all odds, and they end up falling in love, well, eventually. It is a really good book, and the second one I did like, but I didn't like it as much as this one, so it's not adding on to this. So the next one is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a rivals to lovers about 2 rival journalists who are working for the same position while a huge war is going on, and the main female character's brother is out at war, and it's really sad. It kind of has this like magical pen pal thing to it, and it's really sad at parts. I like when a book makes you cry at like 150 pages in, that means it's a good book, because I was sobbing when I was reading this. I don't know, it was really sad. But yeah, I really liked it, and I'm kind of scared for the second one though, because I've heard that it has an insomnia trope, and I don't love insomnia tropes, so that might ruin it for me. I don't know. The next one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is about a girl who is basically invisible to everyone, but like not invisible. She can be seen. As soon as someone turns their back to her or just looks away for a second, they immediately forget who she is, which makes her life very difficult, until she walks into a bookshop one day and she steals something and then the guy who, like, the next day she goes in again, and basically this guy remembers her, and so they end up sort of falling in love. But the little like shadow dude the guy she made like a deal with, basically, to that's why she's invisible and forgotten and stuff, is also like in love with her, which I like him better in my opinion. I don't know why, I just do. But basically it's kind of a love triangle, but not really at the same time. But yeah, it's a really good book and I like it. The next one is 2 books from the Shatter Me series. Not the whole series, because I definitely don't think the whole series is that great. They're good books, but not like my favorites. And the 2 books that are on here though are Ignite Me and Restore Me. This is the 3rd and the 4th book. I really like these ones. I don't know why. Ignite Me got a 4.75 and Restore Me got a 5 stars. I don't know why I like these out of all of them. I don't know, maybe, who knows? I have no clue. But yeah, this series is about a girl who, anytime she touches someone, they die or they get really hurt, and she gets locked up in like an insane asylum, and it's kind of a dystopian-ish book. It very much turns like into the romance more throughout the series. It kind of like switches, so it's kind of weird, but I do like the series. So these two specifically get onto this list. Okay, and now we are going into our manga and graphic novel. I read a lot of manga, so that's why it has its own little subgenre, even though there's only like three. There's only 3 mangas in here, 1 graphic novel, which I'm gonna talk about first, which I read recently, so I haven't really talked about this anywhere besides Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me. Link description. Anyway, but this has been one of my favorite graphic novels, which is Nimona by Indy Stevenson. This is about a girl who is a shapeshifter, and she ends up going to this villain's sort of like evil lair, I guess you could say, and she becomes his sidekick. And see, there's the difference in these are there's the movie version, and then there's this. I read this first, which is really good, but essentially in this one they are trying to prove that the like good guys, or like the government essentially, which is called the Institution, is using these like illegal lethal plants to, I don't know exactly what they're doing, basically experiment with them, but it's killing or like injuring, making people in the town sick, because obviously it's illegal. So they're trying to prove that that's happening, and it's really good because he's not really like a villain in the beginning. Well, he kind of is. He basically is. But still, it's a really good book and I like it. And the movie is also really good. I watched that recently. I've watched it like twice now. Oops. The next manga series is Death Note, which is about a high school guy named Light Yagami who finds this notebook on the ground called a Death Note, which basically if you write someone's name in it, they die in 40 seconds of a heart attack unless their death is specified under their name. And it's like his adventures, and there's a detective named L, and he's trying to find Light, or what his Light's alias is, Kira. And it's just a really good series and I really like it. I think it's really funny, especially with the Shinigami Ryuk. He is so funny. I do want to read more of this series. The next one is one of them that I don't have, which is Assassination Classroom. This is about basically like the rejected students of this school. It's like a rejected class, and their teacher ends up being a giant octopus that blew up the moon. And he is teaching all of the students how to be assassins so that they can assassinate him before he blows up the earth. And it's just a really funny, good series, and it's also really sad at some points, but it's a really good series. And the last manga is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Obviously, if you know me, you know how much I love this series. It is about a girl who summons this ghost named Hanako, and so basically his thing is granting humans wishes if they summon him, and so she does that to wish for true love, essentially, specifically with her crush, who's like an older guy who's like super popular. But then a lot of other stuff happens, and it's very good and dramatic, and I really like this series. Those are all of my favorite books, in case you wanted to know. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below one of your favorite books, and make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!